Check, check, 1, 2. What up? DJ Divine Justice. Always a good day to learn something new. Alright, we're going to start over in Zero Edit. And I know you can't see these, so I'm going to do my best to explain. This is a map of the Korg 04's audio in and out settings. So all these 4 channels are the same. So these green things that you can't quite read, let's say pre-EQ, and that's what I have selected on the first channel. So it says 1 left and 1 right. This middle one, which on channel 2 says pre-fader, which is the same thing as post-EQ. On the third channel I picked what it says at the bottom, which is post fader, which is post EQ and post fader. And channel 4 I'll be using as a regular interface, so that's selected as the normal at the top. Now this also gives you 4 more options, so it's pretty cool. On sampler in, I have 5 left and 5 right. Sampler out, 6 left and 6 right. And then effects out is 7 left and 7 right, meaning that this is basically one channel that in a similar way you can map 3 different ways, whether it's just what's coming in at the beginning and not what you do to it manually, because remember, all these effects manually are just being heard in an analog way, not actually being sent through the audio setting if you have the first pre-Q selected. It's only after you select down to either post EQ or on the channel, as far as the sampler goes, effects out or sampler out, because then you can actually bypass the effects as to what's getting passed through the sound card. Now what helped me is that also on master out you can select that as an output, and I'll show you the problem that I was having was on Ableton. When I was trying to, I guess, record my scratches, the problem was that when I would scratch, what would only get picked up is what was coming in through the record. So it would just be the sound of me scratching it back and forth, and not the sound of me actually, cutting it in and out. Or when I would take the bass out of it, since this is all post EQ as far as this is concerned, that's what happens when you do that. Even though I'd be taking the bass out, the sound card of the 04 is only picking up what it's coming in unless you change it. So over on live I'll try to make that a little bit apparent. I guess this is the first time I get to edit a video. You're taking too long, bitches. Alright. Let's just start a new project. Start new tracks. What's easier? Alright, so say for instance, right now we have this track volume, this track input from 1.
Stop! Hold it!
So if we're recording on that channel, even if I scratch, even if I take out the bass and scratch, it's just sounding like that because it's coming through the analog portion of the mixer. That's its job to have a master out. But if you look at the WAV file, you can see it's all one solid. Now we're using this as our sound card, I said, right? There we go. So even though I was scratching, it was doing that. Now, say for instance, to stop that, delete that, stop that track. Let's change this to 3 and 4, which over here, these channel, the way it relates is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then on the in zero edit, I guess it had the input of the sampler as 5, 6, 4, 5, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8. Fucking numbers, fuck that. Just so you can see what happens. We got the track going. Now over here, I'm going to take the bass out. And you'll see, as I take it out fully now, all of those have gotten a lot smaller. And you'll be able to hear it when I bring it back in. So because it's coming in on now track, well, you can't really see, 3/4, that means that it's picking up the second set, 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's picking up the fact that I was taking the bass out. But I could also have taken the volume down, and it would still be getting. See, I took the volume down on the analog part of the mixer, but it's still coming through on here. So now, take that same premise, move it over one. So now we're going to have the signal coming through the third set, which would be, if you're counting, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we move the inputs over here from 3 and 4 to 5 and 6. Now, turn this fader up. Take the bass out. You can see the wave patterns got smaller. And also lower the volume on the DJ mixer, and now it picks that up. Because as we changed when we first started, this would be pre-Q, this would be, pre-fader, and this would be post-fader, so it's picking up what's happening there. And then what finally solved my problem was that if you switch the inputs to, what was it, 7 and 8, then it picks up what the analog mixer picks up as being the master out. So I have this input, but the master out isn't showing anything until I move this crossfader over this way, because I have this selected as the channel that I want to assign it to. So I have a sharp cut, bring it in, master starts showing. Then this is still recording, and by me cutting the crossfader over, it cuts the sound off completely. So it's just an interesting way, and it saved me a lot of trouble, because then now I can actually record my scratches as they sound.
Hold it. Breathe.
And that's exactly how it will sound.
Hold it. Breathe.
Yeah, you can even see the little cuts in and out. I gotta cut this bitch. This video's too long. I gotta cut this bitch. This video's too long. I gotta cut this bitch. This video's too long. I gotta cut this bitch. This video's too long.